Maya is 20 years old and decides to invest $500 every single month into a broad market index fund. David is 30. He also decides to invest $500 a month into the exact same fund. Elena is 40, makes twice as much money as both of them combined, and she too invests exactly $500 a month. Most of us think about money like a stack of bricks. If you want a taller wall, you work harder, you buy more bricks, and you stack them one by one. You trade your time and energy for a specific, strictly predictable output. 1 hour of work equals one set amount of pay. This makes perfect sense to us because the human brain evolved to track linear movement. If a predator is running at you across a field at 10 miles per hour, your brain can calculate exactly where it will be in 5 seconds. We are wired to understand things that move at a steady, predictable pace, but we are entirely blind to exponential growth. If I ask you to take 30 linear steps across a room, you know exactly where you will end up, roughly 30 meters away. But what if I ask you to take 30 exponential steps, meaning each step doubles in length? 1 meter, 2, 4, 8. Where do you end up after step 30? Most people guess they might make it down the street. The actual mathematical answer is that you would circle the entire planet Earth 26 times. That massive gap in our perception is why you can look at your bank account, look at a small monthly savings habit, and falsely conclude that building true wealth is mathematically impossible for an average earner. When Maya takes $500 out of her checking account and invests it, that money does not sit in a vault, waiting patiently for her to turn 65. The moment she hits the transfer button, her cash enters the bloodstream of global capitalism. She is using that money to buy tiny fractions of highly profitable global operations. When a teenager buys a new smartphone in Tokyo, Maya gets a cut of the profit. When a logistics company ships 1 million containers across the Atlantic Ocean, Maya gets a cut. She now owns a microscopic sliver of physical supply chains and consumer goods. Every single day, these companies generate billions of dollars in real profits. Every quarter, they take a portion of those profits and hand them directly back to their owners as cash payments, called dividends. This animated flowchart illustrates the exact mechanism of the wealth engine. Maya doesn't spend her dividends. She automatically reinvests them, using the profit her money just made to buy even more pieces of those exact same companies. In year 1, her $500 a month feels completely pointless. She makes a few $100s in profit. Her brain tells her she is taking linear steps, effectively masking the massive, invisible engine building momentum right beneath the surface. Maya contributed $240,000 over 40 years, but compound interest built a $3.1 million empire. $2.8 million was generated passively. By waiting until 30, David only missed $60,000 of personal contributions. In a linear world, he should be right behind her. Instead, David's final balance at age 60 is $1.1 million. The math does not scale evenly, because compound interest is heavily backloaded. The longer a dollar sits, the more aggressively it multiplies. The heaviest lifting always happens in the final years of the timeline. Maya's money compounded on mountains, while David's compounded on hills. Time is the unhackable variable. That is why Elena, rapidly panic saving at age 40, cannot mathematically compete with Maya's effortless early start. If the math is so undeniable, and the tools to invest are available on our phones, why is the average person broke? The answer is a cognitive bias called hyperbolic discounting. Our brains overwhelmingly prefer a small, immediate reward right now over a massive, life-changing reward in the future. The new shoes or the expensive dinner today feel real. $3.1 million at age 60 feels abstract, so we spend the money. And when we use high-interest consumer debt, we place ourselves on the wrong side of the exponential curve. You are no longer Maya. You are the economic fuel feeding the bank's exponential portfolio. This dual bar chart compares Maya's potential wealth against the shadow costs of the financial industry. If Maya uses an advisor who charges a supposedly tiny 2% management fee, that fee compounds dynamically alongside her wealth. Over 40 years, her final balance drops to roughly $1.4 million. A 2% fee mathematically destroys over 50% of her final wealth. Global corporations, luxury brands, and the financial industry understand human psychology better than consumers do. They have built a machine specifically designed to weaponize our impatience against us. We live in an era obsessed with velocity. We want the crypto moonshot and the penny stock that spikes overnight. But true generational wealth does not care about velocity. It requires uninterrupted endurance. Warren Buffett is widely considered the greatest investor in history. If he had started investing at age 30, like David, and retired at 60, you would not know his name. His true genius was not his stock picking. His genius was his patience. Over 99% of Warren Buffett's massive net worth was generated after his 50th birthday, simply because his timeline was long enough for the snowball to pick up billions of dollars in a single rotation. The stock market is a highly efficient machine designed to transfer wealth from the impatient to the patient. You can spend your life looking through a linear lens, stacking bricks, and hoping you don't run out of energy. Or you can accept the painfully slow process of planting an exponential seed, refusing to touch it, and letting the math do the work.